Okay, good afternoon. Wait, thank you for your patience, everyone. My name is Now Jama, and I'm here to actually represent the new. I even forgot what it's called. Sorry, the Real You Natural Body and Hair Expo. The first session that we're having today is a panel discussion on what is beauty and who defines it. And we have two panel members, and we have the moderator, Ivy. But they're going to introduce themselves during the time that they're here as well. So we're going to try and keep it within the maximum time of 1 hour. And that will include any questions that you have from the audience as well.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here for today's Natural Beauty and Hair Expo, where we're going to have conversations about beauty, what defines beauty, who defines beauty. My name is Ivy Prosper. I am a producer, a reporter, writer, published author, and television host / presenter, as they say it here in Ghana and the UK. We say TV host on the North American side. I have had experience as far as the beauty industry goes, having started my career in the modeling industry many years ago. So I have my own story to tell about that before I introduce our panelists. We have Deziya, who is from Dancehall Divas. No, did I say that right? Dancehall Divas. Dancehall Divas is a workout that's been created and designed for women. If none of you have heard of it before, it's been described as being vibrant. It's a fitness class that allows women to enjoy themselves in a judgment-free zone, which is great. The tagline is slimmer, stronger, sexier. So I'm going to ask you about how you came up with that. And then we have Kwaku Zion, who is a fitness trainer, who says that his philosophy focuses on continual lifelong learning, and he works towards enhancing the well-being of his clients and empowering them with knowledge, skills, support, guidance, and resources to inspire them on their journey. So before I tell my story in as far as the beauty industry goes and how it's defined, I'm going to ask you, Deziya, to tell us about what made you start Dancehall Divas and your tagline, slimmer, stronger, sexier.
Okay, good, what are we now? Morning, afternoon, okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So how did I come up with Dancehall Divas? Dancehall Divas basically came from a place of me wanting to better myself. It came from a place of me wanting to better myself in a way that was comfortable to me. So there was a Zumba craze at the time, but that is quite based in a Latin American culture, and it just didn't sit comfortably with me. The music, the salsa, it's good for some, but it wasn't for me. I wanted to whine. I wanted to feel like I do when I'm in the club. So I created Dancehall Divas, which was really just, in Ghana I find women are, they live very mundane lifestyles. So it's very much work, home, work, home, work, home, church, work, home, work, home, work, home. That is pretty much a Ghana female's life, and I just thought, something, these women need a break. They need a break, they need to be somewhere where they can feel free, let their hair down, twerk, shake their booty, just feel free, unapologetically, do you know what I mean? And I felt like, nobody can judge them about this. There's no alcohol there, we're there to improve our health, socialise, network, it really does tick a lot of boxes, and it's all through the guise of fitness, so and one thing that I've realised with it is, over the years that I've done it, is it actually breeds a real confidence in the women. to just kind of come out of themselves, and that confidence definitely translates into their work, into their home, into their bedroom. I always say, you know, from the boardroom to the bedroom, girl. Yeah, so that's something that I'm quite proud of, yeah.
And Kwaku, if you can tell us a little bit about what you do with the fitness and how it helps women or men.
Thank you, Ivy, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I took up upon myself to become a fitness instructor after I realized I have the passion for it. And then many people like the way I go about training them. So I give myself to knowledge. Actually, I'm an accountant, a degree holder. And I got a job in a gym whereby I was managing the gym. One day the instructors didn't come around, and we had a lot of clients that day. So I had to change myself and train them. Honestly, I actually can't tell what I did that day. And the people don't know what I did. So I went home, went on YouTube, watched a lot of videos, and then I started taking courses in fitness. So that's how I became a fitness instructor. And one thing I realized that we go to the gyms, most of the instructors there end up teaching people what they think and not what they know. They train people above their athletic abilities, take them above their resistance level, and instead of getting fit and being strong, they end up adding more complications to that which they already have. So I gave myself to knowledge, read more, took courses, and that is what has inspired me to become what I am.
So because today's conversation is about beauty, what is beauty, what defines beauty, I'll quickly share my story that relates to what kind of helped me with defining beauty. When I was a teenager, I'm 6'1", and I've been tall. I've been this height since I was 15. So I've been this height since I was 15 years old. And so my whole life, most of my life, I would always get approached by people who are like, oh, you should be modeling, you should be modeling, you should be modeling. And so I did get into it. And I spent the first part of my life, up until age 13, people telling me that I was tall and really skinny, too skinny at that time. And then you get into the modeling space, and it was like, wow, you're gorgeous, you're perfect, but you need to lose weight. So at the age of 13 was the first time I heard someone tell me, you need to lose weight. I was told to lose inches off my hips, because I was told my hips were too big, and I was told my waist could come down a little bit more as well. And at that age, I was probably like, 60 pounds less than I am now. And I was being told I was too big. So that kind of started defining what I thought about beauty. Because I was really into fashion, I would read magazines all the time, and then going around other models who were like really super skinny, and then I was always considered the big one when I was in the industry. So I did pursue it for quite a while, through my teens, and then through my early to mid-20s. And then it got to a point where at that time, it wasn't popular or common for women to have natural hair. There was one fashion model at that time, her name was Roshumba, who had natural hair. Everyone else was like the weaves, the wigs. And one day I went into my agency and I told my agent that I wanted to go natural. And he was like, what? It's hard enough getting you work as a model with dark skin and those wide hips. Now you want to add natural hair to it? And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this anymore because it's just too much stress. So what I learned about the beauty industry as a model was you have to be super skinny, and you are better if your skin is lighter, you're preferred. So that's what I learned from that industry. From personal life, when I was 14 years old, I had a boy I had a crush on tell me that, and who was darker than me, tell me that I was too black and too dark, and he would never like a girl that skin complexion. He prefers light or white. That's what he said to me. And so at that age, you're like, oh my God, so I guess that's what's beautiful, is if you're light or white. And then modeling's telling me you're too big. So it's like, as a young person, that was already beginning to shape what I was thinking about beauty. So globally, the beauty industry subconsciously shapes what a lot of us think. Culture also shapes what a lot of us think about each other, and our own inner circle of people, friends, family, define what we think of beauty. So that's my story as to what started to shape my thing about beauty. But as I became older and I, stopped modeling, I was like comfortable in who I am, love my chocolate skin, and everybody's different. So the dynamic of that, actually, I spun it around and I ended up becoming a public speaker. Speaking at schools, I traveled around nonprofits, talking to girls about self-esteem and positive body image. Since 2004, I've been doing that. So I spun it around from that to say, if I'm going through this, what are these young girls going through? And it actually was instigated with, I overheard when I worked in retail, a mother and daughter talking in the next aisle, and the conversations were, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too big to fit into this, I can't believe it. And I was like, you know what, something needs to be done. So that's my story. So what defines beauty? What shapes what you think of beauty? Do you think it's personal? Do you think it's global, media? What is it? What do you think shapes beauty? If you can, one of you two can respond.
Okay. I think beauty for me, I think like yourself, I've always been a big girl. When I was young, I was big. I got to about 110 kilos at my heaviest. And I've always battled with my weight. And I think growing up in a community of non-black women, most people, white girls are generally skinny throughout their lives. So I was always the big one. So I feel it's only with my age that I've learned to become comfortable in my skin, and just even now as a fitness instructor, I know that people will think, well, you don't look very, I'm not skinny, or do you know what I mean? But like I said in my class, that's not the thing that even though, like I said, our tag is slimmer, stronger, sexier, it's relative, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel people should always be at a healthy weight. But if you're not there, then it's okay. You can get there. Do you know what I mean? Same with your strength, and the same with your sexuality. But for beauty, in terms of beauty, I think it has to be defined by yourself. You can't allow, I feel like, so things like social media is really taking its toll on me as a 40-year-old woman. When I put my Snapchat filter on, and I do feel more beautiful after taking that Snapchat picture, but then I was like to myself, no, this thing is making me insecure. Because before there was Snapchat, I thought I was God's gift.
Yeah.
Now that Snapchat has come about, it's brought all these feelings of insecurity, so that app's been deleted. Yeah, it had to go. It had to go. So yeah, I think social media is really tough. And like I said, I'm a grown woman, I have children, and I can see them being impacted by the likes, by, my daughter's like, oh, she's 16, oh mom, I've got 13,000 followers, my son's got nearly 20,000 followers. It's clearly impacting what they think is beautiful, what they think is popular, what they think is what they desire, when in fact age will tell you that nothing that these people have is what you need or want to be, because it's not you.
Yeah, social media has definitely become a force in how we are seeing ourselves, how we're seeing other people, how we're defining ourselves. And when you talk about likes, a lot of, not just young people, but like everybody who's on there is affected by likes. I mean, in fact, it happens to me. It'll be like, wait, I posted this, how come nobody's liking this post? How come they like that post and they don't like this one? And I think we have to come to terms with recognizing that you're doing it you're just doing it to do it. It shouldn't be for likes. It should be, this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I want to show, this is my story. It should be about storytelling. I think if we look at it more as storytelling rather than seeking validation, then maybe we wouldn't be so obsessed with it, right? Because if it's like, you're at your dance class and maybe you're sharing an image of, two ladies who may be there, and it shouldn't be, I want lots of people to like this picture because it shows that these ladies are doing great at my class. It should just be, this is the story I'm telling about what I'm doing. And if you like the story, then you'll like the picture if you like the story, because it should be about the stories behind it. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think as elder women, then we do rationalize
Elder
things.
women.
I don't know how you got to
More seasoned women, there's more seasoned. We tend to rationalize things a lot more, because I'm like you, do you know what I mean? It's like, it is what it is. I'm a bit OCD-ish where my Instagram's concerned, so I have a quote, and then I have a picture, and then I have a quote. And
So you have it curated.
yes.
Which a lot of people do.
So, and my quotes don't get that many likes. But I'm like, to hell with y'all, because I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I say it when I say it. So, and the pictures, they are intermittent. Like, I don't really, obviously I want to put my best face out there, but it's really about me.
Yeah.
I've started to make it about me, who I am, and I just want that my Instagram is a true representation of who it is that you're going to meet when you do actually finally meet me in person.
Yeah, I think when it comes to beauty, it's all about authenticity. I don't know what you think about it, but share what you think about what is beauty to you, who defines beauty, what defines beauty.
Okay, thank you for the question. There's this saying that if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. I believe beauty should be something you define yourself. Beauty varies. When you go to Kenya, one of the tribes believe the ultimate sign of beauty is to have a long neck. So from 5 years, they start wearing brass on their necks so they can stretch their legs. When you go to Europe, Asia, they believe a white, pale skin is an ultimate sign of beauty.
We always hear about beauty coming from the inside out. It's one of the things that I've often talked about when I do my public speaking with young people, is talking about learning to see your inner beauty, and when your beauty comes from the inside, it radiates out. So it's true, when you're happy, there tends to be more beauty that comes from it. And one question I often like to ask people is, because when we get obsessed with what we look like, think about how, when you are in school, or even when you're in the work environment, and there may be somebody that people are like, you see them for the first time, wow, she's gorgeous, or wow, he's so handsome, oh wow. And then the moment that person starts talking and their character and their attitude comes out and it's nasty, you're like, no, that person is not attractive anymore. So I love that you mentioned being happy, that when you're happy, you're there. I want to touch on a topic that is really a hot button thing within the Black community, especially, I shouldn't say especially, but it's within the Black community, it's also within the Indian community, the Pakistani community, the Korean community, but it seems to be more vocalized and discussed in the Black community. It's colorism. And in some other African countries too. And I think Jamaica also, skin bleaching cream is very popular as well, from a documentary that I saw. What are your thoughts on that? Even though they're supposed to be banned in Ghana, but I still see them on the shelves everywhere. But what are your thoughts on people using skin bleaching cream? Do you think it is something that's deep inside of them, they don't like themselves? Do you think it's just they just want to look a certain way? Like, what do you think about that?
Okay, let me use myself. Remember when growing up, I had my friends tell me, you don't see I'm dark, you see I'm black. So quick, we are black. You are black as charcoal. You are black as a monkey. They call me all those times. And when I was growing, I wish I could have some light skin, So I spoke to my mom about it. And she said something to me which always rings in my mind. She said, I am your mother. And on my side, I'm very handsome. So keep it that way. So anytime someone says that to me, So my mom says I'm handsome, so I don't care what you say.
That's it. End of discussion.
And now I realize even the whites are now injecting some chemicals into them so they can have black skin. So why would we blacks do that? They are doing that because of social media. They watch social media, they see someone do it, and they want to be like them. But I feel if we, the blacks, are able to come out to preach more on this thing, speak to them individually, they are going to accept themselves and keep to themselves who they are. Thank you.
What are your thoughts on it? So it sounds like you have a story by that.
I don't have a particular story, you know. Despite growing up around white women, white girls, I never actually saw colour until I probably came to Africa. Yeah,
Interesting.
I know, right?
That's very interesting.
I know. I didn't think about my complexion or anything like that. And obviously, as the conversation grows, I definitely feel this success. It's to have fairer skin means attaching to some kind of success. I think celebrities tell this story. The wealthy generally tell this story. So to find a strong, powerful, successful black couple is. It's like finding a needle in a haystack these days. So I do think subconsciously, then, you know, for a dark-skinned black man to marry a white woman or a much fairer-skinned black woman is seen as a sign of success, which is extremely sad. But what can you do about it? I really don't know what to do or where to go at this stage of the game, because it's getting quite serious. And as far as bleaching is concerned, obviously now, because like when I first came to Ghana at 13 years old, everybody was really black. Like, but we were on the equator, like it's what I expected. But since moving to Ghana, I'd say that I was definitely one of the darker skinned women. So I'm like, what happened? Do you know what I mean? What happened? How is it that everybody 20 years ago was the colour that I expected them to be now? And I think there's a shamelessness in lightening your skin as well. It's just like, you know, there was a 10-year challenge the other day and people posted pictures of themselves 10 years ago.
The before and after 10-year challenge.
And they were black, and then now they're fair. Yeah. And I'm like, the shamelessness of it, like, do you not even carry any shame?
Yeah, it's definitely something that, I mean, I don't think we can stop it overnight, and it's not going to change in one conversation, but I do think that what Kwaku said, it hit the nail on the head. If you're an adult and you are around children, or if you're a parent and you have children, it's up to us to instill in them that you're beautiful regardless of what the complexion is. So because I mean, I knew a woman who used to say that she wants her daughter to marry a white man so that the children will be fair and they'll have nice hair. So she, growing up, is hearing her mother say this. So the mother's already training her to think you should be striving for lightness, either for yourself or for your children. But when you have someone like his mom who says, you know, you're handsome regardless, then you know, okay, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be, and I'm going to be proud of who I am. And
it's easier said than done.
It will definitely easier said than done.
Your mother will always.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
That's why I said even if you are an adult and it's not your child and you say it to the child as well, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, if you've got bricks growing out your head, your mother's still going to call you gorgeous. And it's, you know, as a mother as a woman with 5 children, and like my children do, you know, I was growing up with a very Pan-African background. Whereas I feel like because I'm in Africa, I don't really need to instill Pan-Africanism into my children like you hear. Like, how much more African do you need to be? But I've realised that that's not the case. We still have to teach them and put that imprint in their mind as to who they are, who we were. Do you know what I mean? And who we are becoming. So yeah, it's a long road.
Oh, it's definitely a long road. I agree. It's definitely a long road.
But I think definitely being here and having the just seeing black couples, for me that was really endearing. Coming to Africa and just seeing two black couples, because in England it's especially my city where I'm from, it's a little city in the Midlands.
Which city?
Derby.
Okay.
So to find a black couple walking hand in hand down the street, you'll never see it. You'll never see it. Like, my family send me pictures back and I'm like, is everybody in a mixed relationship? Like, what is happening? Do you know what I mean? So it's, coming to Africa and just seeing that it was normal, do you know what I mean? Black women are normal, it's normal to love a black woman. It does bring me some peace, knowing that my daughter's not going to feel insignificant or unloved.
That's definitely powerful. Yeah, definitely a powerful thing. Like I said, this is a long conversation to be going into when it comes to, light skin, dark skin, bleaching, not bleaching. But it's definitely something a conversation that needs to continue with respect to being adults, talking to children, and if we're in positions of power, to be part of shaping the minds. So when I say that, so for myself, someone working in the media industry, if you're casting somebody for something, making sure that you're not going in with a bias, making sure that you're having people of different complexions who are all represented in the project. If you're in magazines, and making sure that you have a diverse group of people. If for your fitness, if you're doing an ad showing someone before and after the training, making sure that you have a mixture, not just always like a fair-skinned person all the time, but a mixture of different people, showing that we do come in a variety of shapes, sizes, colors, complexions. And I think that's the beauty of Black people, is having the diversity. And I think diversity is beautiful, and not saying one is better than the other. Now, we have a shift happening in the beauty industry where we're seeing people going more towards natural products, whether it's for health, that you're eating better foods, or you're using things that are different on your skin. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's a good direction to be going in? What kind of products are you using in your beauty regimen, or health products that you're recommending to your clients?
Okay, for me, I'm not big into beauty. I'm a very natural woman, like a bath, soap and water. I'll use some black soap. I generally tend to steer towards natural products. So the Alata, is it? The black soap, yeah. I generally use that to bath with. I strictly use, I'm an eczema sufferer as well. So perfume things never work on my skin, so I'm generally coconut oil, shea butter, I'm good. And that's from head to toe, from my hair through to my skin, yeah.
Shea butter is really, really amazing, the way that they're making so many different combinations now. There's vendors who are here at this event, for those of you here, who are selling products, and I've seen some that have turmeric in it. You have some with lemongrass, different products that are mixed, so it's really, really awesome.
I would say I was fortunate to have a mom who cooks natural all the time. When I was growing up, she taught us to use the local soaps, which is artisan, and that's what we're using all the time. And in my opinion, I feel it's the best. I never experienced skin rashes till now. Okay, because that soap is made up of fermented cocoa and some other stuff, and this thing prevents skin diseases or skin rashes. Then she taught me to be using lime. You apply lime to your pubic parts before you take your bath. Okay, this prevents smells. Then we smear shea butter on our body. For now, I'm getting scared now because the Western world is now getting into this kind of natural product. They are selling it, refining it, and selling it at a higher cost to us now. I'm scared for some time to come, we'll not be able to afford it again. Some time ago, we had gold here. We didn't know the use of it. We were kicking it around. They came for it, and now we are buying it at a very high cost. And soon, if we are not careful, they might do the same thing to our natural products like shea butter and the others.
Yeah, shea is already one of the big exported products from Ghana to other parts of the world. It's one of the products used worldwide in the beauty industry. Companies like The Body Shop, they've been buying shea butter from Ghana for years. I think it's more than 15 years that they've been, I don't know the exact number, but it's been a long time. So yeah, you make a very valid point.
I think, there was, I don't know for those who know Dr. Sabi, but I think before his passing, he had a line of products, but I think since his passing, it has actually been infiltrated because I've seen videos of and footage that says, like it's caused this guy to have some scabs, and basically where it's supposed to be called curing the problems, it's actually causing them now. So yeah, I think all this scaremongering.
So you're saying that when he died, someone took over the company and changed the product?
Basically.
Okay. So now it's not what it used to be?
It's not what it used to be.
All right. No. So when it comes to natural products, we should really, really value what we have here in Ghana, right? Yeah. And we should be using it more because it really, really does. A lot of the stuff really does work great on the skin. I've been using shea butter soap for a couple of years now, and I love it. And the black soap in liquid form, I love to use that on my skin. I usually get the one that has the cocoa butter in it as well. So definitely the natural products are the way to go when it comes to taking care of your skin and your beauty regimen, if you have one.
Definitely, I agree.
So what would you say to someone who says that they're not beautiful? Because at the end of the day, we are all fighting this battle of thinking you're beautiful or you're not beautiful, because we do live in a world that does look at our package. So what would you say to someone who says, I'm not beautiful, I'm ugly?
I will not even allow you finish with the sentence on the statement you are not beautiful. Everybody is beautiful. We all have some kind of uniqueness that makes us beautiful. When I started this fitness stuff, I'm an ectomorph, that's my body type. And my body type responds poorly to good. So I can't.
So for someone who doesn't know what an ectomorph is, explain that.
Okay, so ectomorph are the natural skin type. They have a high metabolism. They hardly grow big. They easily lose weight. They even burn calories when they are sleeping. So with such people, they have a fat burning calorie muscle, which enables them the ability to sustain power effort. So I am that type. I can eat all the food in this world and I'll never grow big.
You're the type that a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
So my other fellow instructors, they'll be like, you are an instructor, but you don't look like. It's like, yes, I don't look like. So I looked at myself and I was like, no, I have to define something that would get people, like what that would get me attracted to people. So I decided to, like I said earlier, I want to give myself to knowledge. Irrespective who you are, when I'm done talking to you, when I'm done training you the first time, you sign up for 6 months. And I'm going to charge you big. In Accra, I'm one of the people who charge a lot. I go to some gyms, they look at me like, this guy don't look like. I remember I was recommended to train a particular woman. I got there and she told me, who shows that you're an instructor?
So what do they want you to look like?
Okay, they want you to look bulky, muscular.
Like to have a muscles that like this. That's what they're expecting.
An instructor, yeah. When I got there and told her you can't judge a book by its cover. Then I started talking to her. By the time I was done with her, that was my first time of taking $2,000 per month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what you're saying actually goes to another point where in society, when people are big, people make comments about them being too big, and when people are skinny or too slim, people make comments about that as well. So you have the two ends of the spectrum that people deal with that.
So you will have to see yourself to be beautiful. No one will say it to you, and no one will say it to you as well. Till you define beauty for yourself, everybody will just be telling you their mind.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I often say to young women when I'm doing workshops with them is when they're saying, because women do this all the time, they wake up, they look at themselves, they'll be like, oh, I'm so this, I'm so that, oh, my thighs are too this, and oh, my cellulite, oh, my stomach, and this. They'll say these negative things to themselves. I ask them, what you're saying to yourself, would you say that to your friend? Your best friend who's sitting beside you, will you look at her and say, oh, your thighs are too big, oh, your nose is too this, or this is too that? No, why would I do that? That's my friend. So why are you saying it to yourself if you wouldn't say it to your friend, right? So I challenge them that when these negative thoughts come to you, ask yourself, would I say this to someone? Would I say this to someone that I love and care about? Then why am I saying it to myself? And the battle starts with us. Because sometimes we are our own worst enemy when it comes to how we define beauty and how we define ourselves. We've had such a great conversation here. I know we only have a few minutes left because this could go on and on and on. So I'm gonna leave it to the audience members we have right now. If you have any questions, if you want to, make any comments regarding what we've discussed today.
Hello, I'm Nana Etoinabari, and I'm Pan-African in my concepts, and so I always go back to colonialism, slavery, and how colorism came from that. So my question is, like you said, it's easier said than done. How do we make sure we are on purpose with our children when it comes to them really knowing who they are as far as beauty is concerned?
That is a great question. How do we come on purpose?
How do
we move on purpose?
Like, how do we make sure that everything we're doing, everything our kids are taking in, they're conscious about it, and they know that they're beautiful no matter what? Because the things that are coming at them always tell them they're not beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of things.
It's true.
So what do we do as parents, as family members, to make sure that we're on purpose so that, and let me give you an example. Like me growing up, I was very tall. And so all the girls were short. I'm watching guys who like short girls, you know?
Same
So
thing.
yeah, so how do you prepare kids, that's just one example,
Yeah.
dark skin, whatever. How do you prepare kids for things like that?
For me, I don't have children, but I always do my best when I'm around my friends' children and other people's children to consciously do things that will impact them in the smallest ways, consistently. Not just once or twice, but consistently. And actually, a friend of mine, he was really impressed with the way that I do this. He found it funny, actually, like, wow, I can't believe you do that. So for instance, instilling not only about beauty, but any character trait that you see in them that could be positive and could lead to something, because that builds their self-esteem as well. So one example was his son, who's about 1 year old, was sitting in a high chair and he was like, finished eating and he's banging on the tray table and just banging on it. And some people might be like, stop banging on that table. What I did was, oh wow, are you gonna be a drummer when you grow up? You like music? You like the way the beat sounds? And he just kind of looked at me, and then he didn't do it as hard anymore, but he was still doing it. And I was like, yeah, you're making music. So I turned something that someone might have said was irritating and turned it into, oh wow, this might be a talent of yours that you have. So I think if we consciously think about, well, what are they doing and how can I turn this into something positive? For me, that's one way. There's 2 girls on my street that I love to play with. They're 2 and 2.5 years old. One, I've noticed that the neighbors gravitate towards her because she's fair. The other one is darker, and I've noticed neighbors gravitate towards the fair one when they say, oh wow, you're so beautiful, you're so sweet. And I say to both of them when they're together, you two are both beautiful in your own way. And I say it over and over so that they both know. I'm not picking one over the other, I'm telling you both that you are. So I think it's in the little things consistently. That's my opinion. I don't know what about you.
Yeah, I do feel like you, and with my own children, I tend to try and find the thing that it is that they are, that makes them feel the most proud of themselves, and always big them up in that area. I think as much as I was against the hair cutting thing when I came to Ghana, then to see my daughter had a massive, beautiful afro. She was actually my inspiration because I'd never been natural. Like, it just never occurred to me to be natural. I was, I think, 13, and I put a jerry curl in my hair. Like, it's been on and on since. But then when we came to Ghana, she was 6. Obviously, I hadn't permed or done anything stupid like that to her hair. And then she grew into her hair, and obviously everybody, I think when you're surrounded by other people with natural hair, it's like, what's the big deal? Do you know? So she absolutely loves her hair, and she actually inspired me to go natural. So she went natural before like I said, she'd always been natural, but she was so proud in her naturalness that I was like, oh, okay. But I'm always learning from my children. So yeah, just continuing it to just show them love. Show them love. I've got, different complexions of children. Funnily enough, the fairest child, he's like, I'm the freshest one in the family. Like, who told you? But that is just the confidence in himself. I don't think it's relative to his fairness. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't promote that in my house whatsoever. And if I hear any slight inclination towards that way, I'm like, what show? My house lady is very terrible. And I'm permanently having to reprimand her about that. Just about the complexion thing. She thinks being fat is cute. And being fair is cute. And I think that's a cultural thing. If you're fat, then you seem to be wealthier. So, yeah, there's just a lot of misconceptions, but we just have to keep talking, and bigging them up.
So, as I was growing up, my grandmother is a beautician. And I would actually walk into the holiday meals reminding them that they're black people, because everybody was high yellow. Okay. In fact, my auntie passed away. They could pass. So I just show up and say, yes, you people, you're black. See? So my grandmother would tell me, she's my grandmother now, would tell me that I'm too dark. And that followed in school as well. So it took a long time for somebody to convince me that I was beautiful. But I was smart. You couldn't convince me of anything else. So I developed something else. I said, no, I'm not beautiful. But honey, I got a brain on me. And that's what I developed. And so, you're right, it comes from inside. Because for me, my smartness was beautiful. My intelligence was beautiful. And when finally, it got to be where somebody would actually ask me out on a date, I was shocked. I'm like, so what you coming after? What's your purpose? What's your mission? That kind of thing. Because I didn't trust anybody giving me a compliment. To this day, I still have a little, problem when somebody says a compliment. I've got to go to the mirror and say, oh, okay, I see what they're saying. That kind of thing. So you work at the the validation. I grew up at a time where you had racists coming at you left, right, and center. The thing I did for my kids to help them with this colorism thing, I moved to Africa. I moved to Ghana. They didn't have to deal with that. They didn't have to deal with none of it. Okay? Now they're in America, they're telling people what to do and where to go. Hallelujah. So that's what I did. God said so. He said, move. I said, okay. And that was exactly what I gave to my kids. Helped them tremendously.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. One more question?
Mine is a comment.
Okay.
So I want to tell this story. I was in my shop and a lady walked to the shop and said, oh, I need a cream that can make my color more beautiful. Then I said, what do you need it for? Then she said, oh, I'm going to get married in a month time, so I need something to just get the skin shining. And I said, why do you want to get your skin different from what the man saw initially?
He's marrying you. He's already
Right.
You're right though.
Yes. Yeah.
And so she said, no. But I said, no, you don't have any excuse. Unfortunately, what I have in my shop is shea butter and cocoa butter, the natural one, undefined. That is what I can give you. But I can't give you anything that will change your color for you. Then the lady was sad, and I could see that she really wanted to go to the market and get something that would make the skin lighter. I said, do you know, I don't mind spending the whole day with you if I have to make every effort to change your reason for coming to town to buy that product. So I had to spend time, talk to her, educate her. I said, look, if you change your color now, then you cannot sustain it, and there will be problems. Unless the man has complained about your complexion, then tell him to leave you alone. Yes.
Wear him off.
Yes, I said tell him to leave you alone.
Yeah.
Because when he saw you, this is how you are, he needs to accept you. You cannot continue to change, or he cannot continue to make requests that are not sustainable. Unless you tell me that you do not accept who you are. Then I think at that moment she realized that, look, I'm not the one that I can let her go and buy whatever she wants to buy. So we spent time talking to, and I had to drive her home.
Hey.
Wow, you drove her home.
Yes.
This was a full session.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not in Accra. I came from Sunyani. And I came because of my t-shirt. Yes, we were on the same platform, so she posted the expo. And seriously, so I have to even attend her engagement just to make sure. Yeah, so every day.
Wow, that's amazing. She attended the engagement.
So I was calling her every day, even though I'm not in Sunyani every day. I work in a mining company and I have this business aside too. So I was calling her every day and I was telling my girls, can you go and visit that lady for me? And so I had to make sure that for that month, she's not going to get that product to, alterate the skin, but just for her to accept the way she is, and for the man to also accept. So I had to even call the guy. No, I'm passionate about some of these things. When I get sad when women do not want to accept the way they are, and they are defining beauty by other means. It doesn't work.
Wow, I think that your story is a great way to close up this conversation, because what she did, and maybe you're continuing to do this with other customers, is showing that it is up to us as individuals to care enough about other people that we help them in redefining what they see as beautiful in themselves. Because you really went the extra mile. Now that's customer service to the next level. Calling her, calling the guy, telling your team to check on her, going to the engagement to make sure that she was attending. So that is a real commitment to making sure that this woman accepts herself as who she is. Oh, we have one more.
It's not personal, just
to add to that.
Said,
If Esther brings you the mic.
I was just just going to add, we all obviously have a responsibility to talk to other people,
Yeah.
but also how we talk about ourselves in
Yes.
front of our friends.
Yes.
So if we're complaining about our complexion or complaining about our weight or whatever, that other person is then looking at you and looking at them and thinking, okay, well if she thinks she's fat, then I'm really fat, or if she thinks she's dark, I'm really dark.
Yes.
So it's talking to other people, but also taking our own advice and not putting ourselves down to our friends because we're inadvertently putting them down as well.
Most definitely, most definitely. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today in this conversation about beauty. What is beauty? Hair, skin, makeup, fitness, food, all those components comprise of what we see as beautiful. I personally don't have a problem with someone deciding I want to get fit, I want to get in shape, I want to use makeup, but it's to enhance what we already have. It's not to change what we have. That's my opinion. So thank you so much again. If you wanted to ask any questions or chat with us, I'm here. I know she has to jet off very soon because she has another commitment. But you can always check out her Dancehall Divas. They do have a Facebook page if you want to message and get information about where the classes are taking place, right?
Yeah.
And then which place are you doing your training, or do you go to people's homes?
Oh, I do personal training.
I do personal training and I do group training as well, depending on where you want to train. If you want to train in a gym, I have a gym opposite Fiesta Royal. You can
Yes,
come
Royal.
there, place opposite Fiesta. It's called New World Gym. So you can come there. If you want a personal tour, I can come to your house and train you.
All right. And share your social media handles.
Okay, so it's Kwaku Zion 21 on Instagram.
Spell it.
Kwaku Kwaku, then Zion Zion, then 21. So Kwaku Zion 21.
On Instagram.
My business handle is Dancehall Divas Africa. Yes, Dancehall Divas Africa, and that's my website and my Facebook, and then my personal is Deziya, Deziya, Desires World.
And you can find mine is Ivy Prosper, IvyProsper. I'm Ivy Prosper on all social media, and my website is ivyprosper.com. Special thanks to the Calabash Hub and her collective for partnering to do this event today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of the afternoon because there are more panels to come. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. If you have any more questions, I know Deziya has to leave, but I'm sure Ivy and Kwaku will be staying around for a while. I also just want to know that Richard of X-Men Grooming is here. He didn't get a chance to come on the panel, but if anyone